boy, Jody Boy Sam, and welcome back to the bottom of the well. Now, I really like this visual novel. It's got so much replay value to it. It's free on Steam, so I'll leave the link to the game to itself in the description, and also I'll leave the previous part so you know how that all went with me the first time I played this. But let's start a new game, and instead of just having the default Alice, which I had in the first part, I'm going to do a custom Alice. You can customize your Alice down to individual start points if you wish. Although it's not recommended for your first playthrough, it is however advised for more playthroughs. I can't say that word for some reason. You have to invest all 9 points before you can continue. My words are getting jumbled up. Okay, so let's start customizing. Clicking on the icons will give you a short description of what they are. Oh! Press the plus to add a point and the minus to detract a point. You have to invest on all 9 before you can continue. A stack can have maximum of 3 points. Click on the icons. Okay, so dating. Unlike the other skills, this represents the level to which Alice has committed to her current relationship. In the post-apocalypse, such commitment might not be of any particular use. However, unless one follows it to the bitter end. Okay, social life. This skill represents the time Alice has spent honing her ability to function in a group, either as a leader or a productive group member. A social Alice is likely to make more friends and influence people. This skill represents Alice's level of fitness. A higher fitness will allow her to complete more physical strenuous tasks and also improve her overall resistance to radiation. So if you don't know what Bottom of the Well is, it's basically like this visual novel RPG on a post-apocalyptic world. You play as Alice, as you can see on the screen, and basically it's like you play as her, and then you got to make choices on how you would survive in the apocalypse. And yeah, it's really good. Like I said, you got so many choices here, so many different playthroughs, and I've been told by the developers there's a true ending. There's a true ending to this game, and if I want, I can ask for hints, but I'm going to see if I can do it myself before I ask for any help. But anyway, let's check out the other stats. This skill is a combination of calculating pragmatism and experience. It represents Alice's ability to stay out of trouble, and if trouble finds her, to deal with it effectively. It's an invaluable skill in the post-apocalypse. Supplies. This skill in general represents Alice's ability to organize the supplies, both food and others, e.g. flashlights, first aid kits. A high skill level means she can carry more things in her backpack and also influence the availability of food and certain items. And then the final one is Alice has majored in English, which is not the most immediately useful skill in post-apocalypse. The career stat is part skill, part representative of a position in academia, which might be less than useful in the post-apocalypse. It might, however, open up some interesting venues of approach. Ooh. So 9 points. Well, the obvious 2 is going up to survival supplies. I want to add 1 to that, 1 to that, and then I got 3 points. Yeah. Social life, even though social life allows you to interact a bit more, allows you to open up channels and perhaps get some few things and all that stuff. But anyway, finish customizing. So we're going to go with this one. We're going to go with this version of Alice. So this is going to be interesting. I will do another one with there's a one for Dark Alice. I want to try that one out as well. But right now, this is my creation. Alice has majored in English, which is not... Oh, right, yeah, that's about great. Never mind. Let's start. So I'm just going to skip to the bit where basically we start getting into the choices. Basically, if you want to know how this conversation goes, check out my other previous part, which I'll leave the link in the description below. But for right now, we're just going to get right into the game. Oh, there we go. So basically, this is like she's in a dream and the apocalypse has happened. So, like I said, it was the end of the world. Everything I did that day felt like the real thing. Every smell, every sound, every color, every touch. It's important you know that I wasn't acting like I would in a dream. I didn't know it was a dream. Heavy. There was no warning, no build-up, nothing. Just between one moment and the next, the TV had turned to the emergency alert system, and this voice that sounded like it had been recorded in the 60s told us we were under attack. Were you alone? No. I was with some friends. We were having a movie night at my place, watching, holy shit, I think it was actually the new Star Wars movie. Oh, well, no Star Wars spoilers. Oh, God. Whew. Wait. The new Star Wars is in episode 7 on DVD. You know that dates your dream, right? I hadn't even thought about that. Sorry, go on. What happened next? Like I said, the TV suddenly turned to the emergency alert system, jacked the volume all the way up too. I didn't even know they could do that. The broadcast told us we were under attack right now and that we needed to get to the shelter, that we had less than 30 minutes before the bombs hit. Now, this is actually completely new to me. Like I said, it's like different paths, but oh my god, I didn't have any friends the first playthrough. This is weird. Jesus, it sounds scary. At first, I didn't want to believe it. I switched the channel, but they were all the same. And then the sirens started, tornado sirens, flood sirens, I don't know. And I knew things were serious. So what did you do? Okay, yeah, I would go straight onto online. Didn't you try calling someone, like your parents? Of course I tried, but it was futile. The phone network was completely overworked, but the net still worked fine. What did everyone else do? Everyone was pretty terrified. Some tried to make a joke out of it, but there was something about the voice on the TV that bellowed that once we figured out the net still that bellied out. Yeah. Once we figured out the net still worked, everyone was on it. So, what did you find? The net was still working, but the bandwidth was severely lacking. The major news networks were either down or overloaded, but all the big search engines defaulted to some kind of government site in super simple HTML. That kind of confirmed it was really the real deal. Isn't the net supposed to be some kind of a DARPA invention anyway? Wouldn't be surprised if they had some kind of system in place to take it over if need be. Well, they hadn't taken it over. You could still go on wherever you wanted. Facebook still worked. Apocalypse-proof servers? Nice. It was insane. I tried to get in touch with my brother. He's the only one who even got an account, but there was no reply. I spammed my aunts and sent an email to my mother, but I don't know. It felt like I needed to find someone right there and then. And? A group chat. It was spreading through our social network like wildfire. Someone had found the closest old Fallout shelter that was actually still operable down on 3rd. People were going there, just grabbing all they could and running before the bombs fall. So what happened next? You know, I did find you online. Oh, that must have been useless. I'm all the way over in old Blighty unless things were different in your dream. No, you're still in the UK. Yes, this is also set in America. The bombs had already started falling there. Oh, why did we get attacked first? You disappeared. There was nothing more to do. It was only a dream, Al. Sure. So then what? Right, so the phone network is already down. Online, yeah. Alright, 3rd. I don't know how far that is, but yeah, head to the Fallout shelter. The old Fallout shelter was down on 3rd. It wasn't far, close enough to walk anyway. Did you think to bring anything? Oh right, yes. I grabbed the biggest bag I had. A backpack. People always called it magic. You could fit so much into it. Bigger on the inside and all that. Okay, so what did I take? Well, I took a flashlight. I took some food. I took some first aid kit. Can I fit any more? Or is that it? Yeah, I'll say food and first aid. That's kind of the safest option. So I've got a flashlight, food, first aid. Okay, how do I... What does this do? Oh, God. That was a bit weird. So that's what I got. So exit inventory. Got 2 food. Well, go on. What was it like? Did you run into trouble? You could say that. God, that shelter. So we headed towards the shelter. I think we were all hoping it was just a false alarm, and tomorrow everything would be back to normal. Like an extreme version of Orson Welles' War of the Worlds broadcast. Actually, the panic that radio show caused was greatly exaggerated, probably by Welles himself, and it worked. We still remember it today. Great ad campaign. Guess that English lit degree is coming to some use at least. Yeah, well, it didn't really feel like it. I remember trying to think of words to describe the way the streets felt, the way the city sounded. Turmoil, chaos, anarchy, tumult. What the hell is that word? Pandemonium. Oh, I got that right. The capital of hell. Now who's got a degree in lit? Stop stalling. Yeah. It's just so fucking damn, like I said, everything felt so real. The panic in the street, the accidents everywhere with no emergency responders showing up, and the ever-present siren. It was like everyone walked with their eyes to the sky, just expecting to see a flash. Did you make it to the shelter okay? The shelter was actually in the basement of a bar. They used it as a storage, which was handy since there was a door towards the street. But there were no signs of anything like that anymore. I just knew about it from the Facebook conversation. Okay, wait. Isn't that the bar you always go to? The Red Bar? Ooh, new location. Yeah, yeah. Go on, Alice, did you get in? We went to the old entrance, which was down a narrow side alley. Some of the others were waiting for us there, and a few more came while we said our hellos. It actually felt pretty safe in that big group. The suspense is killing me. So I knocked out on the door and then immediately tried the handle. It was locked. Nothing happened for a while. And then the door opened, just a bit, and she stuck her head out. She? The bitch queen. She was there, she was this redhead chick who had taken charge of everything in there. She was the one who originally posted about the place, so I guess she felt like she owned it somehow. She stood there in the doorway, looking me over, and then basically said, "We're full," like it was an exclusive club. I can't believe they just keep you out for no good reason. Was it actually full? Ha, not a chance. There was a sign on the door that said capacity 100. There was just no way there was 100 people in there already. I said as much. She didn't reply. I guess he didn't just let it be at that. Yeah, I tried to talk my way in. You can't just leave us out here, and so forth. She just repeated that they were full, that there wasn't enough food for any more, that we should try to find some other place to hide. Stone cold bitch indeed. I tried telling her we wouldn't be a burden. We had brought food. I opened my bag and showed her. You're nicer than I would be. What did she say? She looked at the food and then at the others and said she could let me in because I had food, but anyone who didn't have food would be left outside. What the actual fuck? What a... What did you do? Yeah. I told her there were others out there here and that we wanted in. That's not a very good argument if the princess says that the place is full. Yes, except that I used it as leverage. I told her we were coming in one way or another. I guess there was something about the way I said it that made the others realize it was time to loom closer. You're a right thug. So she let you in? Reluctantly. But you did try to get the rest in with you, right? Well, good. So how did that math work out? It wasn't math, it was narrative. Her narrative was this shelter is full, but we can't take people who have their own supplies because we have none to spare. I knew then already it was bullshit, but I had to humor her. Anyway, the narrative map was very simple. 1 day of food for every person she was letting in. So we talked about it. And yeah, not everyone can make it, but that was the harsh reality of the situation. We tallied up our food. They had enough for one more person. That made for 2 days of food and as many people in, plus me. The rest she would shut out. Ugh, this is making me angry just listening to it. Did you go through with it? Yeah, I can't be just backing out of the deal. Basically, bombs are dropping down. Yeah. It's the safest option I got, you know, protect shelter. We barely had time to get our bearings before she started taking command again, telling us to hurry up and to empty our bags. Empty your bags? She had some kind of notion she should be in charge of the supplies. And what did you say to that? Yeah, I'll be going, hold on. No. I just fought my way into the place. No. Holy shit, Alice. I didn't know you had it in you. I don't know. I was tired, stressed out of my mind, panicking, and this bitch tried to keep us outside, and now she wanted our stuff? I didn't have time for her shit. You go, girl. How'd she react? Stunned that someone would actually stand up to her. The others kind of took note and stood back, looking from one to the other. I really felt like everything I said right now would put me in the spotlight. What did she have to say for herself? She said she was the proprietor of the Red Barn, therefore the legal owner of the fallout shelter, and that it was only out of the kindness of her heart that she allowed us inside. No, it wasn't. We had to freaking negotiate with you because you were just going like, oh, it's full. I lied to you, huh? Yeah. Tell me about it. I reminded her nuclear war was about to go down out there, and that whatever bullshit ownership idea she had were quickly going out of date. There would be other forms of currency soon enough. Jeez, Alice, this was, what, half an hour after the announcement? You got real fast. I guess. I mean, this was kind of what I had been preparing for. I was just mentally in that space, I guess. Anyway, a lot of people stopped and took a note, and she went quiet. Did she leave you alone afterwards? The place had maybe 20 people in it, us included, but she stayed away from most of the rest of us, so yeah, she did. Were you the last to arrive? No. Soon after us, there were some others. These she let in without trouble, embracing one of them, this big burly guy with a motorcycle jacket. Someone you knew? Actually, yes, Ray. Ray was his name. He lived pretty close. I mainly knew him for his love of motorcycles. I had no idea he knew the bitch queen. But the place was still empty. Yeah. Soon after though, there was another knock, and this time the bitch queen tried to do the same thing she did with me. What did you do? Yeah, no way! Of course I would step out and go, oh, this is a freaking nuclear war happening. And you're doing this. What the actual hell? Damn right. When I raised my voice at her, she just turned red. What was your approach? With force of numbers, I wasn't going to let her bully people just because she pretended to be the doorkeeper. Holy crap, Alice. So, was there a fight? Well, she called Ray over and he had his friends came and there was kind of a fracas. Yikes. At least most of the people outside could slink inside during the fracas, although most of them just disappeared into the crowd. So I guess in the end, you won? Well, the alternative was that she would have won. What happened next? The end of the world happened next. The bombs. We were all underground, set of stairs leading to the actual bunker. It was filled with barrels and barrels of beers and other drinks, but at least there was light for a while. So it actually happened. The nuclear war? Yes. We had a radio with us and we all sat clustered around it. At first there was sporadic reports that the US missiles defense system was working and that it was shooting down the incoming warheads, but then the signal turned off and a few moments later we felt the rumble. Ooh. Holy shit, but you were okay? Sorry, excuse me. The shelter did what it was designed to do, yes. Although at one point there was a terrible sound just above and the shelter was briefly filled with dust. I was pretty sure we were all dead. People were screaming, babies were crying, lights flickered and died. It was the end. Holy shit, your subconsciousness wasn't joking around. We substared on candles and flashlights and waited for the radio to come back. It did after a while. What did it say? Just about expected fallout patterns. It sounded very recorded, but I guess there had to be someone alive up there still clicking the buttons. But even that ended after a little while. Wow, okay, so how long did you stay down there? Well, the radio said there was a cloud of radioactive ash coming our way within 24 hours and told everyone to stay inside until further notice. Then it died. So, I guess you stayed at least 24 hours then? Of course. The problem came when we tried to leave. What? Well, the shelter was underground underneath a big trapdoor, and the house above it had apparently collapsed on the trapdoor. We tried to open it, pushed and pushed, but it wouldn't budge. Damn, that's like a real nightmare, buried alive. Well, we had food down there for a while, and if we started drinking beer with our meal, we could probably stretch it out for a few weeks. Of course, then we'd be all kind of drunk all the time, too. But what then? Maybe there'd be a rescue? Maybe. But what if there wasn't? What did the others think? Ray and his queen wanted to sit tight and wait for help. A few of the others wanted to find an alternative way out, maybe through one of the ventilation shafts. A third option would be to keep working on the trapdoor. It opened out, but if we removed the hinges and got it to collapse inward, then dug up the way through the debris. That was a big paragraph. The radioactive debris. Yes, but the radio had mentioned fallout falling down within 24 hours, staying put if even just for a few days longer, and it turned out one of the other options might be optimal. Anyway, people were getting very antsy, so it was time to make some kind of decision. So what did you do? I would go for an alternative exit, so I've got, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you get your air from the ventilation shaft? Well, yes, so it was kind of risky to go messing with it, and we all knew that, but the trapdoor didn't feel like a good idea, and neither was just staying put, so it was a shot. So what did you find out? Well, I stood on the shoulder of some of the others and managed to dislodge the grate on one of the shafts in the room. I shone a flashlight in and saw it was just barely big enough for one thin-shouldered person. Sounds like someone I know. Well, with a bit of help, they pushed me up in the shaft. It was tight, very tight, but I could just barely wiggle my way upwards. This was roughly the point I remember I have a serious fear of enclosed places. Now, okay. Well, I understand. What if you got stuck? No one would be able to help you, especially if it was somewhere further up. Who knows if it even led to the servers, or if it was unblocked by up there. Risky. Yeah, I know. I definitely had some reservations. So, what did you do? Well, I'm in the freaking ventilation shaft. I might as well continue with it. Brave. It was that or remain stuck on the ground. Either way I was going to die in the dark. Still, I think most people would prefer to delegate that or then hope for the best somewhere else. Hey, don't ask me. I did what I did in the dream because that's who I was in the dream. I don't think it was me exactly. It was more like a future potential me, you know? Sure, I guess. Anyway, crawl space, how did you do? It was tight and it got tighter fast. I felt like hyperventilating, but somehow I got my breathing under control. The flashlight helped a lot. I guess you didn't have a piece of mushroom that would make you smaller, did ya? Ha! Very appropriate. No, I didn't. Anyway, somehow I managed to continue pushing myself up the sides of the tunnel. Wasn't actually that bad, really, as long as I kept going slow. You can't can't have been that far underground though. It must have been just a few distant feet, right? Sure. But there were filters and it was thin and it went straight up, and yeah, it was not fun. The worst part was I didn't even have any proper tools with me, just whatever we had to use to pry away the first cover, a claw hammer I think. What was your strategy? Slow and steady. It wasn't easy, and I really don't want to think about what would have happened if I hadn't kept my cool. It would have been so easily just to get stuck. But you didn't. I didn't. Somehow I found myself looking at sunlight streaming in through at the grate. At the very top at this point I had removed about 5 active cold filters, so I knew that whatever else happened, the filtering system would be broken now. In other words, you had to get them out. Yes, except that wouldn't be as easy as that. Jesus, the way things looked up there. Oh, look up there. Up there. There. Oh, yes. The whole building had collapsed on top of us. It was nothing but concrete and rebar and broken glass. Luckily, the ventilation shaft was on the street, and luckily nothing had fallen on it either. But the rest of the city, it was pretty much unrecognizable. So there really had been a nuclear war. I don't think that was ever in any doubt. Anyway, I had a bit of a breakdown, but then I got to business. Sorry, you had a bit of a breakdown, and then you said like, all right, I had my breakdown, let's carry on. That doesn't look like that, sorry. I located the trapdoor soon enough. It was buried underneath a ton of rubble, but it actually didn't look as bad from up here. A concentrated effort from down below with some help from up here would see it cleared within a day, I was sure. What about the radiation? I don't know. We had waited for a while. Everything was covered in a layer of ash, but I had no idea if it was radioactive or not. It's saying clear skies. So what did you end up doing? Okay, apparently I need to find some people to help out and get them out, so yeah, okay. Get some help and let's carry this. With help, I could probably dig out the whole place a lot faster, and there had to be other survivors round. Good thinking. Where did you go? Well, the streets were a mess. Most of the buildings around either burned or collapsed from some shockwave or other. I wandered around shouting for a while until I decided I need to be more systematic about it. Okay, systematically looking for help to dig trapped people out of an underground shelter. How do you do that? I started by going somewhere familiar, back to my apartment building, and lo and behold, there it stood, half of it anyway. I can definitely feel like we got a lot further than I did before. Was it badly hit? You could say that. As I walked up to it, I was actually amazed at how well preserved it was, but as I got closer, I realized half of it was just gone, and everything beyond it was a ruin. It was at that very limit of the instant death stone, I guess. Yeah, well, now that I was there, I wanted to see what it was like. Did you know your neighbors well? As well as one might expect. Anyway, I went inside and almost immediately heard voices. I followed the sound and soon found a room on the ground floor. I knocked and a man opened. I recognized him. He was one of my neighbors. His name was Ross, and he had a small group of other survivors had gathered in one of the bottom floor apartments. There was a family with 2 kids, an older lady, and the janitor. Not exactly a Marine Corps detachment, but better than nothing. After sharing stories of survival they had all hid in their apartments and hadn't really moved from the building since, I told them about the fallout shelter. Did they agree to help? The family kids were both getting really sick. I think they wanted to find any place that was safer than here. The others also quickly agreed. With the group in tow, we returned to the shelter entrance. You didn't bother going back up to your apartment? I did, actually, but it was nearly unrecognizable. The windows had all been blown in and everything was covered in ash. I looked at it for a while and yeah, it felt pretty bad, but somehow there wasn't anything there that I wanted. It felt good to shut the door behind me and leave. Interesting. Anyway, how did the whole thing go with help? It was faster, definitely, but they still had to collapse the trapdoor from below. Still, we managed to get it done within a day. Oh God. It must have been wonderful though to help dig out all those people. Were they grateful? Oh yes, although the bitch queen still held on to her fort, she said in no uncertain terms that she was staying right there, and that anyone who didn't want to wait for rescue was free to leave. Oh, that she was. Ugh. And you? Were you free to stay? Not in a million years. Some of the others though, the family with kids, were allowed to go down. It was me she was after. Queen Bee syndrome maybe. And the rest? The others crawled up after me. They all wanted to leave too. A few others joined as well, jumping camp. Ross decided to stay with the family. That's why they helped excavitate the shelter. After all, I said thanks to all of them and let them go. So what did you decide to do? Who the hell is Chess? I don't know Chess. Yeah. So how many of you left? We were over a dozen when we left the apartment building. What did it look like? The streets? Awful. Ruined buildings everywhere, charred by fires, most of them. We had to pick our way between cars and debris and bodies. There were so many bodies. It makes me sick just to think about it. Did you figure out where to go? We started coming across survivors soon enough. People like us, some with backpacks and some with just clothes on their backs. It was absolutely wretched to see them. So some were staying put, but most were moving. Rumor had it there were an evacuation center set up at the college. What? Like your college? Yeah. Talk about going back to where you started. Go on, how did it go? It was pretty slow going, and even though we tried to keep out the black rain, there wasn't all that much we could do. But at least we had a go, and the others helped us get there. I made sure everyone had some kind of mask though, even if it was just a shirt to breathe through. So it was real, the evacuation center. Not so fast, there was a slight obstacle still on the way. Oh, what's that? The river. There's a river? Not something I've thought about either. I didn't live anywhere near it, so whenever I crossed it I just drove over it. But there it was, a geographical reality. So, I mean, the bridges were surely still there. True, but when we approached them, we realized they were occupied. Uh-oh, by who? I'm not sure. I saw them from afar and kind of ducked into cover. I saw immediately they weren't good news. They had guns and were harassing the other people who'd come to the bridge. I think they were mugging them. Did he let anyone pass? Yes, some. But I didn't know what the price was or if they had some other criteria for letting people through. So what did you do? Yeah, other bridges. And what to say the other bridges didn't have similar setup seems a likely thing to do. I was willing to take the chance. I wasn't going to tangle with a group of odd men even if I lost some time. How much time did you lose? Well, that's the thing. We walked about a day through incredibly terrible terrain towards the nearest bridge. Quakes had made the riverbanks collapse in most places, and the river was for some reason churning, making it impossible to ford. And when we finally arrived, it was broken? Yes, it had collapsed. Oh geez, no hope of getting over? Well, it had collapsed, but not totally. Half of it was dragging in current, some cars were still hanging on by some form of magic. Maybe it would be possible to balance across, but it looked pretty risky. I was so damn disappointed and tried though. It actually felt like a good... disappointed and tired though it actually felt like a good idea. I can't get my words. How about just backtracking instead? Yeah, going across. Such a bad idea, Alice. I wasn't sure how much longer I could go on without making a stupid decision, or maybe this was my last straw. What was your plan? Take it slow and careful. I edged my way across. It fit in fits and starts, but it still held a few cars in there. What difference did one more human make? Uh-huh. When it started creaking, I picked up my feet. I was too far along to turn back. Told you so. I scrambled up on a car, then started sliding. I tried to grab hold onto something in a panic scramble. I managed to steady myself against a piece of railing. The others were screaming at me from the shore. I couldn't hear what it was. and then I was yanked bodily and violently backwards. My coat had somehow got snagged on the car. I couldn't even see how. I barely had time to scream before I was already under the water, seeing nothing but bubbles and the rapidly disappearing light. Oh god, did I just get her killed again? Jesus, Alice. I wouldn't recommend drowning to anyone, but luckily it was just the first breath that hurt. After that, I just kind of drifted off. Ah! I was doing so well as well. And thus concluded my dream. Well, that was interesting. What do you think? I think it felt incomplete. Yeah, gonna definitely do this again. I was doing so well. Like there was something missing. That wasn't the way it was supposed to end, you know? Yeah, I know how you feel. Dreams are supposed to end in certain ways. This one was. I think it felt like it was trying to tell me something, but I wasn't listening closely enough. Maybe you can try again next night, see if you hear the same recording. Speaking of what, oh, yeah, basically, radio. Okay, we're just gonna skip this bit. And that is the end of, I was doing so well. Yeah, so, basically, yeah, I died again. But at least I think I've improved, and I've, yeah, in the next installment of Following the Well, I'll play as Dark Atlas, and then if you want to see more, I'll probably do more custom Atlas and see what happens then. Because oh my god, there's so much replay. I love this game. This game is really good, and the studio also announced a new game coming up as well, so I'm going to be definitely playing that. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below. And have an awesome day, a fantastic day. Don't let that bitch queen tell you what to do, and have a superb day, and I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ra for now.